is because it does seem to me as if it's like you want it to be like an equal, like basically like a 50-50 on both ends. So why can't you also be the one to like propose? If he's proposing, shouldn't it also be like an equal type of mindset on that aspect as well, and you being okay to propose to your man?
So I think that there's a misconception when people hear me speak. People don't think that I lean more traditional than I do anything else. I really do.
It's confusing to me to hear that, mainly because women have always worked, always, since the beginning of time. I understand what both said. I guess for those very rare situations where a man decides that he wants to employ you, you know, on a personal level, like I'm gonna eliminate a job, therefore your job is to create services within our household, however that looks. Cool, that makes sense. Reality is most women will never experience that. 80% of women will always work. So if we're dealing with the equation of majority, I don't understand again how you're saying it's not fair, because there is never a 50-50. Even if we split, let's say, the rent or the mortgage, most of the time the man is facilitating, especially financially, more dates, more celebratory things for you, more pampered treatment things for you, more maintenance things for you. It is not split down the middle in most cases. I don't see women that are taking their paycheck and paying for his haircut while he pays for her nails or whatever. I don't see when dates are being facilitated that she's equally picking up the tab. It doesn't go down like that. So even if you was to park your resources to something like just rent and y'all split that, most of the time we're still absorbing majority of the things monetarily that are occurring while simultaneously facilitating our natural position in this relationship. I don't like the whole protect and provide thing, because that gets like overstated. What reality is, most people are safe, but I do get it. The problem is that it still doesn't make sense. Based on what I'm hearing, you said you would like to not have to work, but I guess you didn't give enough context of what that would actually look like. In modern time, women can earn income. That's just how that goes. Now, I agree. You go ahead, Bo. I want to have a dialogue because I'm confused. I really am. I
That
don't
wasn't what
understand.
she said, though. She didn't say that she
No.
didn't want to work. She said that she didn't want to work and then come home and then have the same responsibility to like have the housewife role when she gets home, take care of the kids. The kids ain't have a bath yet. The kitchen's still dirty. She got to cook dinner. She was saying that if she has to split the bills pretty much 50-50 and go out and work 8 hours a day, then she think that it is unfair for her to still have that responsibility to pretty much take on that herself.
So I have another question, if that's okay with the panel. I don't want to take up the. Okay, so would you want your man to like kind of help out in the house, and like say you're doing housely duties, would you want him to like help out with that? Okay. Would he also be like providing in that sense, like he's going out to work? Or do you want to just be like the one to pay the bills?
So I've only been married once. It's really just however the money works. Unfortunately, in my marriage, I made most of the money, so I paid most of the bills. Um, and I did all of the household duties, all of them, every one of them. That was inside. I don't go outside. Um, so I didn't think that it was very fair because he had one bill. He had one bill, and that was just the mortgage. That's it. That's all. I paid everything else. So I also, and to True's point, I I figured out that I don't think I've ever dated a man that liked me. I paid for all the trips. I did pay to get him pampered. I did all of those things because I feel like a man should be treated. And dates rarely happen. I think I can count on one hand how many times he sent me to a spa, and that was
Mm-hmm.
really just for an apology. because I was mad
Oh
at
wow.
him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So you
so
see what I'm saying?
ideally, yeah, so ideally you would want someone to basically do exactly what you're doing. So it's not like it's left on you.
Hmm.
Okay. So would you be open, this is out of curiosity, just, would you be open to proposing to your man?
No,
Like, why not?
because that's just not the type of person that I am.
Okay. I don't know. I just, because it
So
just seems like, because to me, sorry, just to like,
go ahead. No, go
the
ahead.
reason why I ask those things is because it does seem to me as if it's like you want it to be like an equal, like basically like a 50-50 on both ends. So why can't you also be the one to like propose? If he's proposing, shouldn't it also be like an equal type of mindset on that aspect as well, and you being okay to propose to your man?
So I think that there's a misconception when people hear me speak. People don't think that I lean more traditional than I do anything else. I really do. So
Okay.
in my personal relationships, I lean more traditional. I do have some things that I would personally like to change, like I said before, right? So but I lean much more traditional. I am very southern in that way. And so you all hear me say a lot of things. I'm speaking in general for women until I tell you that I'm speaking for me.
Bo, I think in a lot of times in these conversations, I don't think that we're hearing each other, and I think that's the issue. But I'm not sure if we want to hear each other. So, but I think that if I ask you a few questions, people might get a better understanding of who you are and what you necessarily interested in. So, if me and you were together, right, and I was like, "Yo, I want to pay all of the bills," would you have a problem taking care of managing everything inside of the house?
Mm-mm.
Okay. If I told you that I needed help paying some of the bills and I needed at least 30% from you, I put up 70, and I wanted you to manage most of the stuff in the house, but I was willing to help out and give you 30% of that. Would you be okay with that?
That'd be fine.
Okay. And the vice versa. If I didn't really have a lot of money and I could only pay 30% of the bills, you pay 70, you'd probably be okay with me doing 70% of the housework, or just like splitting that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because what I hear from you sounds pretty reasonable. Of I just don't want to have to do both, and you only do one, or you only do
Mm-hmm.
none. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I hear. So I think your position is reasonable. So, and I think maybe that might give people a better understanding of that you are being fair to some degree.
I was just going to ask though,
So
why did you feel like you had to, what, if you were not getting the reciprocity, why did you put so much effort into that man when you weren't getting it? And maybe that's the reason why you're no longer in that relationship. I don't know. And then the other thing is, did you like, it sounds like you're like a giver and you want to please, but do you feel like he took it? I mean, I would say he probably did take advantage of it. Do you feel like it was like he was mooching off of you to get all the reap all the benefits?
Um, geez, that's hard to say. I don't think that that was his intent, but I think that that's just kind of what ended up happening. Like, because mm, I sort of come from an affluent background, so like a lot of things were already like provided for me. Um, and again, I did make more money than him, but that's just the type of person that I am. I usually feel needs when where they need to be filled. But also I love to make the person that I'm with feel special, so I do things for them. That's just what I do.
It's important
Um,
to get that reciprocity, right? So
no, it is,
you may
but
have been selfish, obviously, relationship, maybe because the fact that a person should want to give you, like,
mhm.
you weren't pampered, you weren't treated as if, like, it's like you poured into him and your cup was overflowing with all the tasks of, holding that weight and he wasn't providing that. So if you're with somebody, they're supposed to add extra credit.
I don't want to
That's
make it
why I
about
ended up fizzling out.